So I've decided to make a video on showcasing what my account has. As you may have surmised from the title, I've spent like 20k on this game, though at this point it's probably outdated and it's closer to 25. But there's a particular reason why it's delayed and I'll explain that once we get into the relevant part. Without further ado, let's look into what we actually have here. First of all, from my login streak, you may notice that it's not unbroken because there was one day when nobody could log into the game and they decided to not fix that. JP, I recall, had a similar issue and they did fix it, but NA, at least back then, was very much a second-class citizen, I suppose. Outside of that, I have never missed a single day. I started on January 1st of whatever the year after the game launched, so I missed a few months there. Obviously I'm max level, and in just a few more hours that's going to go up to 160, so that's another good reason to be making this video now and not later. I'll probably hit it in like a month. Related to that, I obviously have all the mystic codes. Doesn't take very long for me to have them all at max level, obviously. The Arctic Mystic Code took the longest, as one might expect, but I probably got it done in less than a year. Christmas at the absolute latest. With that, let's get into the actual meat of things. We have servants. I have them sorted by when I've gotten them, but let's start off by sorting them by rarity, why not? So I'll just scroll through here real quick. I'm missing a total of 6 servants, as it stands right now. One of them is an SR, that would be Summer Nitocris, who has no rate ups until roughly the 7th anniversary, so I'm stuck with this for another 2 years. And the remaining stuff is gonna take a while. I'll get into that in a moment. Okay, let's get into NP levels. I'm not enough of a whale to have NP5 on most SSRs. I think the only few are Seishonakon, who I wanted 1 copy of and then rolled 5 more off of the split rate ups. There's Achilles, who I have never rolled for a single time. And then, if I'm not incorrect, the last one, I may have passed over her, is Echan, who I deliberately have rolled for to be at NP5. I'm not going for NP6 probably, because I am never going to have enough Grails to overgrail anyone. And here we get into the lesser NP counts. At this point, I'll just showcase the missing servants I have here. As you can see, the only 6 I'm missing are Amakusa, Maive, Iskandar, Lancer Artoria, Quetzalcoatl, and Summer Nitocris, as I said before. So 4 of those are on the list next year, unless we get Iskandar on Thanksgiving or something. Next up, we can look at the skill levels. All of my servants are also fully fold, for the record. Scrolling through here, it's probably pretty obvious how I prioritize my servants. I generally, I fully max out any servant that I grail, obviously, and some that I particularly like for various reasons, as well as the really good stuff. But after that, I usually prioritize exactly NP charges and then skills that have a huge impact. Everything is maxed out though. Everything is at least at 999. With that in mind, let's look at the Append skills. And this is the actual reason why this video didn't come out like several months ago. Because I want to have every servant maxed out on the Append front as well. The reason this video is as late as it is, instead of coming out like months ago, is because we got early Appends skills. I want to have every servant maxed out as far as possible before making this video. So everything here has all of the skills unlocked that I can unlock, obviously, and they are level 9 if possible. If they are lower than that, they need some of the future mats. And this is the main reason why I have to make this video right now. Because in a few hours we can start farming, we can look at something like Caster Artoria, and you might see that she requires, as I call them, cowbells. Now I could level up a few of these with what we have right now, but I consider these servants to be completed for the time being. And finally, here's my various CEs. I have, what is that, 23 at level 100. One of them, specifically this one, is kind of the one I rotate for when events require a level 100 CE, like lotteries, so that's not going to stick around. My general logic with leveling up CEs is going for largely the 50% charge ones that have 2000 attack. You can see them often in my budgety videos, because clearly level 100 CEs are very budget. You may see the triple scope in here, as one might expect. And then, because they don't actually take space, here's all of my bond CE. I'm not gonna go further than the bond CEs in terms of showing stuff, because nobody really cares about the low rarity stuff. But yeah, as it stands, I have the vast majority of the bond CEs collected. I am missing 74 bond CEs for any of the servants I have. I can actually show here. I have them sorted by bond level. So you might notice that all of them are at least bond 7, except for 3 servants. And 2 of those have good reason to be at low levels. But if we scroll down here, the list is not very long at this point. And a lot of these servants are kind of not great for farming. I prioritize bond gains during farming most of the time. I don't particularly have anything of note in my second archive, but I can showcase that I have some extra BBs and a Nightingale that isn't locked for some reason, awful. And I'm 1 away from having NP5 Angramanyu. My 4th one at that. My CEs don't particularly have anything of note in here. Stuff for reruns mostly. And I keep like 3 copies of every CE possible, at least. Usually in my inventory, so there's nothing of value to be seen there. And I guess to wrap this up, we can look at what I have here. I don't have enough rare prisms. Life is awful. Obviously I have... The gems are irrelevant. I will never ever need them. I have 0 fluids right now. And I'm going to be farming those from the Christmas lottery very shortly, so that's perfectly fine. What I have here should be enough to cover every servant up until 7th anniversary or the release of Lost Belt 6, and then Appends skills will force me to farm more. Now I could probably make a separate video out of this, but here are all of my grailed servants. All 10 of them. I will now list to you the reason why I've grailed them. I grailed Summer-chan because she has classes. I grailed Summer Murasaki Shikibu because she has classes. I grailed regular...